But first, and fundamental, Alex is an ice road trucker. Before ice road truckers made him famous, Alex Debogorski had already cheated death endless times. He survived 37 bar fights in per week, 11 tried robberies, and nearly being crushed in a coal mine. But nothing could put together him for what came subsequent. As his TV repute grew, tragedy struck again and again. 2 sons lost, crippling debt, life-threatening illness. In 1971, the man who conquered the ice roads faces his toughest war, but Alex Debogorski became born on August 4, 1953, in Barrett, Alberta, Canada. His mother and father, Stanley and Irene, had lived via the horrors of World War II in Poland. Stanley had been a courageous paratrooper inside the Free Polish Brigade, fighting risky missions like Operation Market Garden. He even had to conceal from German soldiers for weeks to live alive. Irene became just as notable. She studied math and tune at Cambridge University, even as bombs fell round her in England. They met by using chance in an air raid refuge during 1943 Despite the chaos of battle, they fell in love and were given married simplest 6 months later. After the battle, Stanley and Irene could not return to Poland. The UPS. Become now managed by the Soviet Union, and those like Stanley who had fought for the unfastened Polish forces were handled as enemies. They decided to depart everything at the back of and begin fresh in Canada. In 1952, they boarded a crowded deliver to move the Atlantic. The journey was difficult with stormy seas, and Irene, pregnant with Alex, suffered horrible seasickness. After 2 weeks, they arrived in Halifax, Nova Scotia. From there, they made their way west to Alberta, wherein farmland became inexpensive. A year later, Alex was born, their first Canadian-born infant. Alex grew up on a farm in northern Alberta. Life there has been tough. Winters had been so bloodless that temperatures often dropped under -40°C. The snow protected the whole lot for months, and the circle of relatives needed to paintings difficult just to live, heat, and maintain the animals fed. Every fall they organized for iciness by means of chopping firewood, retaining food, and getting all of the farm device geared up. Alex found out to devise beforehand and stay calm in tough situations. Summers were not lots easier. The warmth added swarms of mosquitoes and black flies that made outside work miserable. Alex and his own family worked through it all, planting vegetation and being concerned for animals, irrespective of how uncomfortable it became. By the time Alex changed into 7, he had a listing of chores to do each day. He fed the chickens, amassed eggs, and helped with milking the cows. As he got older, his responsibilities grew. He learned to repair fences, pressure tractors, and assist with the hard harvest season. One year, when he turned into 14, the circle of relatives worked non-stop for 2 weeks to complete harvesting earlier than an early frost ought to ruin their crops. Alex stated that experience taught him the significance of teamwork and by no means giving up, even when things have been tough. Even though existence at the farm was difficult, there have been moments of surprise and pleasure. Alex loved watching the northern lighting fixtures which lit up the sky on clean iciness nights. He additionally enjoyed exploring the woods around the farm, speaking to birds and looking at nature. But developing up wasn't constantly clean for him. He was shy and clumsy, which made him a goal for teasing at faculty. These reports made him spend more time alone, which helped him expand a wealthy imagination and a love for storytelling, something that might later make him stand out on Ice Avenue truckers. Alex's own family history had a massive influence on him. His maternal grandfather, a primary in the Polish infantry during World War II, changed into Dun by means of the Germans for assisting Jews get away Poland. This tale of courage and sacrifice stayed with Alex and gave him a deep sense of justice and the courage to take risks when it mattered. His dad and mom also made positive. Alex and his siblings understood the significance of their Polish roots. Family gatherings had been packed with memories, approximately the battle, conventional Polish songs, and hearty food that kept their background alive. Before becoming a famous Ice Avenue trucker, he took on jobs that had been wild, volatile, and full of challenges. On August 17, 1971, at simply 18 years vintage, Alex began his first process as a bouncer on the Yellowknife Inn, a bar known for consistent fights. Within his first week, he had already damaged up 37 bar fights, gotten black eyes, or even a broken rib, but he failed to go into reverse. Over 18 months, he threw out extra than 2,000 rowdy clients. He came near being stabbed 13 times, but managed to avoid it on every occasion. In 1973, Alex desired an exchange and became a taxi motive force in Edmonton. This activity regarded more secure, but it wasn't. In only 6 months, he survived 11 robbery tries. The worst befell on October 3, 1973, while a passenger pulled a knife on him and demanded his cash. Alex, relying on his enjoy as a bouncer, fought, returned. He disarmed the robber and held him till the police got here. By early 1974, Alex moved to Alberta's oil fields. He labored as an oil rigger, where shifts lasted 16 hours in temperatures that dropped to -40°C. On July 12, 1974, a drilling pipe came loose and slightly missed hitting his head. It should have killed him, but Alex saved going, proving he wasn't scared of risky paintings. In November 1974, Alex commenced operating inside the coal mines of Grande Cache, Alberta. He went 2,000 toes underground daily, going through consistent risks like cave-ins, gasoline explosions, and coal dust that would wreck his lungs. On March 22, 1975, a crumble trapped 3 miners. Alex spent 17 hours digging, together with his naked arms and a small shovel to keep them. His bravery stood out. However, these tough jobs additionally taught him a way to live calm beneath stress and resolve issues speedy. Abilities that could later assist him as an ice road trucker. After the primary season, he got over 50 fan letters every day and changed into asked to make public appearances. On September 12, 2007, he went to his first big event, a trucking convention in Dallas. Over 5,000 people got here to look him, and the line for his autograph stretched across the building. But being far from domestic, a lot changed into hard. By the quit of the primary year, Alex had spent 285 days far away from his own family. His spouse Louise stated it become tough, particularly for their more youthful kids. Alex worked hard to live near his family. Every night at 9 p.m., he might name domestic, no matter wherein he turned into. On February 14, 2011, he even stopped filming within the middle of a dangerous ice crossing just to make his call. By 2012, Alex managed to get a contract that gave him every 0.33 weekend off, so he ought to spend more time with his family. Supporting his big circle of relatives of 11 kids and 13 grandchildren was a huge motivation for Alex. Before the display, he labored 340 days a year, sometimes doing more jobs to make ends meet. On March 18, 2008, his 11th toddler was born, which made him even extra determined to be triumphant. The show added monetary stability, and by means of 2012, his profits had extended by using 400%. However, he failed to just think about himself. By 2016, the fund had grown to $500,000. Through all of the challenges, Alex usually stated his own family changed into the motive he worked so hard. In his very last interview for the display, he said, "Every mile I've pushed, each danger I've taken, it's all been for them. They're my purpose for the entirety." His willpower and resilience inspired fans and made him a legend within the world of Ice Avenue trucking. Andrew Debogorski's lifestyles modified for all time on June 15, 2017. He turned into simply 31, whilst he became identified with ALS, also called Lou Gehrig's sickness. This disorder is cruel and takes away a person's capacity to transport, talk, and even breathe through the years. It became a devastating blow to his family. Andrew had been full of life. He turned into a father to 2 little children and engaged to his accomplice, Miriam. He changed into Loved in Yellowknife for his adventurous spirit and type coronary heart. Now he became advised he only had 2 to 5 years to live. Andrew were feeling weak for months earlier than this. He had hassle talking, and his muscle mass felt weaker. The neurologist at Stanton Territorial Hospital in Yellowknife showed the prognosis: advanced ALS. It became heartbreaking. At the time, Andrew's father, Alex Debogorski, turned into filming season 11 of Ice Road Truckers. Alex rushed lower back home as soon as he heard the news. The family got here collectively, determined to do everything they could. They sought out professionals in Edmonton and Vancouver, hoping for higher news. But every medical doctor confirmed the equal issue. Andrew's ALS was competitive and transferring speedy. In only a few weeks, Andrew's fitness commenced to get worse. By August 2017, he couldn't paintings anymore. He had been a heavy equipment operator, however, now he wanted a wheelchair to get around. His speech became tough to apprehend, and he struggled to devour. The family stayed strong. Andrew kept his humorousness. Whilst the ailment took extra from him, he confirmed fantastic braveness and inspired all and sundry around him. The charges of Andrew's care had been overwhelming. On July 1, 2017, Alex started a GoFundMe marketing campaign known as Andrew's ALS Fight to raise $100,000. The response changed into incredible. Within 24 hours, they raised $25,000. By the cease of July, they'd over $75,000. People donated from all over Canada, the USA, even Australia and the United Kingdom. The circle of relatives also prepared fundraisers. In September, they held a live performance and silent public sale at the Yellowknife Elks Lodge. Local musicians executed, and Alex dispatched a video message due to the fact he couldn't attend. That night, they raised $32,000 extra. In April 2018, the circle of relatives hosted a community backyard sale referred to as Wheels for Andrew. They needed a wheelchair-on-hand van, and the occasion raised $40. Alex additionally went on a fundraising tour across Canada in October 2018. He drove his truck from Yellowknife to Toronto, stopping in towns to raise recognition for ALS. The tour ended with a gala in Toronto in which they raised $150,000. By the stop of 2018, all the efforts mixed had raised $487,000. This money paid for Andrew's care, adaptive device, and experimental treatments, now not included by using fitness care. Even with all this help, ALS failed to slow down. By early 2018, Andrew may want to not stroll. He depended on a motorized wheelchair to move. In March, he needed a device to assist him speak. That same month, his respiratory started to weaken. In June 2018, exactly 12 months after his diagnosis, Andrew caught pneumonia. He was rushed to the clinic and stayed there for 2 weeks. He survived, but he now wanted a ventilator to breathe and required spherical radiation. Andrew married Miriam in April 2018. It turned into a stunning, however bittersweet, rite. Andrew wished help announcing his vows and could not stand at the altar. Still, the day became full of love. Andrew's spirit stayed robust, even as he misplaced more physical skills. By fall, he couldn't circulate a good deal at all. He used eye gaze technology to speak by looking at letters on a display screen. His mind remained sharp, and he stored connecting with family and pals. On December 28, 2018, tragedy struck. A fire broke out in Andrew's domestic in Yellowknife. Miriam controlled to store their younger youngsters, 5-year vintage Naya and 4-month vintage Miroslav. But Andrew, confined to his wheelchair, couldn't escape. Firefighters arrived quick, however, could not attain him in time. He turned into the health center, but became said lifeless from smoke inhalation. He changed into Best 33.f. The motive of the fire became in no way decided, leaving the circle of relatives with even greater questions and pain. Andrew's very last moments were heroic. Even as the hearth unfolded, he used his communique device to tell Miriam, "Get the infant out." His ultimate phrases saved his spouse and children. Andrew had spent months planning for emergencies. He kept a hearth extinguisher nearby and practiced getaway drills with his family. His preparations and his very last act of bravery made positive his cherished one survived. For Alex, losing Andrew became unbearable. He had visited Andrew simply 4 days earlier than the hearth, on Christmas Eve. Seeing his son in this sort of susceptible nation, unable to move or talk, turned into coronary heart-wrenching. Alex struggled with guilt. He wasn't domestic when the fireplace took place, due to the fact he become on a trucking task to cowl fees. The information of the fire came at the same time as he became on the road, and the guilt of now not being there haunted him. In the weeks that accompanied, Alex leaned on his faith and circle of relatives for energy. He wrote emotional tributes to Andrew on social media and discovered comfort inside the assist from fanatics around the world. Alex additionally had become an endorser for ALS research and fireplace safety. Debogorski became well known for being on Ice Avenue truckers, but despite his fulfillment on TV, he has faced economic troubles that could wonder fanatics. Even although people realize his name and face, he hasn't earned the sort of cash many would expect. By 2022, his net worth changed into best about 400. This appears small considering a long time of tough paintings and TV stardom. One motive for this is that TV stars don't make as a lot money as humans think. Alex as soon as joked, "I'm only well known, I'm taking $20 donations to get my teeth constant, because this is as a long way as